Ben DePrizio, for those of you who don't know. I'm the Communications and Media Manager for the city. We are going to go ahead and start with our updates any minute here. I want to go ahead and run it down. We're going to have the Department of Public Works Director, Scott Morgan. He actually is joining us right now. And he's going to be giving us an update. And then from there, we're going to go on to Penelope Houston, our Chief Communications Officer, who's going to be giving us an update on behalf of President Doug McGowan at MLGW, Assistant Chief Don Crow from the Memphis Police Department. And then at that point, Quenisha Ward, and from Memphis Fire, and Chandra Smith with MATA. Let's go ahead and we'll have the updates first. And then if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and jump into the questions. So let's go ahead and start with, if we can. Hold on, Penelope, yeah?
If ABC could mute.
Oh, okay. ABC, can you mute, please? And then we're going to go ahead and start with Scott once he gets his camera on. And Scott, can you go ahead and give us an update, please?
All right, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Jenny. Good afternoon. So crews are continuing to treat with salt, monitoring any accumulation from the event. Plowing is limited right now. Just we got that thin layer of ice on the roads and a lot of the overpasses. So we're plowing where we can, where there has been more accumulation. Mostly more on the northern part of the city than the southern, but it kind of depends. So we're working the designated routes, continuing to make sure we keep one lane treated each direction clear, and plowing will continue where we can. It's hard with so little material, and then that layer of ice on the roadway, it's not making for a good plow like it did in the event in January. Additional thing, just make sure you're staying cautious on the roadways. There is that thin layer of ice, and also cautious with the crews. The trucks are out there, they're traveling at a slower rate of speed to make sure we're being able to treat everything. And then our designated routes are on the website, memphistn.gov /snow-ice.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Penelope, can you chime in on behalf of Doug McGowan at MLGW?
Sure, absolutely. So the report from MLGW is that all systems are operating normally, that there are no weather-related outages currently. There are only 7 individual customer outages.
Chief Crow?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Everything's working well for MPD. We're at normal strength, normal operations for us. We have 257 units logged on, available for officers and calls. We give a big thank you to the officers that have reported to work, the dispatchers, and our civilian employees that keep us going. We have 9 active crash scenes, which is a good low number. And we would just caution everyone to stay off the streets until they get in better condition, and remind everyone that we are operating under the inclement weather crash policy. Thank you.
Okay. Quenisha?
Good morning, everyone. So our crews are actively responding to emergencies during this ongoing winter storm. And despite the hazards and the road conditions, we remain fully staffed and operational. And we do want to thank our crews that's out there, just like Chief Crow mentioned, for showing up and being ready all the time. And we urge residents to stay indoors if possible. We know that a lot of people are going to be utilizing space heaters. We want to always put that message out to make sure that you have at least 3 feet away from anything that can possibly burn, and don't overload those electrical outlets as well. And if you do use a generator, just make sure that you have it outside and it's properly ventilated.
Okay, and Chandra with MATA, can you give us an update, please?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. As part of our weather response plan, we have implemented the following service adjustments. Fixed route is operating on 8 routes today from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Those routes are 11, 36, 39, 40, 42, 50, 52, and 57. Due to icy conditions this morning, the following routes do have detours, and you can find the complete details of those detours on our website and on our social media channels. The routes that have detours this morning are Route 11, 40, and 42. As a reminder, Ready and Groove on Demand services are suspended today. MATA Plus is operating life-sustaining trips only. Our transit center lobbies will be open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. For additional information regarding hours of the customer service counters, call centers, MATA Plus assessment centers, please visit our website at matatransit.com and stay connected with us on social media at Ride Mata on Facebook, Instagram, and X for real-time updates. And our riders can also visit our website to sign up for Omni Alerts that will give them real-time instant notifications to their devices. Lastly, just a reminder, we are working with the Hospitality Hub today as we are transporting to the warming centers. If you are in need of a ride to the warming center, please call 901-297-1680.
Okay, thank you very much. If anybody has any questions at this point, now's the time.
Hi, Kate with Fox 13. I was just wondering if this weather event was what you all predicted. Was it worse, better? Could you just talk about that?
So I'll speak for MPD and I compare it to the event in January. January 10th, we got a lot of snow, but believe it or not, the snow is easier to drive on. What we saw accumulate overnight was a lot of ice. Go back to January 10th, we by noon on January 11th, we lifted our inclement weather policy because the snow had melted sufficiently for the streets to return almost to normal. But what we're seeing now is this ice is slower to melt. Traffic and road conditions remain hazardous, and we expect tonight for anything to refreeze, creating additional hazard. So I wouldn't dare say if it was more or less than was predicted, but it's certainly different than the event we had in January.
Scott, do you have anything to add?
No, I would agree with Chief Crow. That's about right on.
Have you had any challenges with staffing, with city employees getting to work?
No, not for Public Works.
MPD personnel are the best in the country. They all reported to work and they're doing their job. We're very proud of them.
Same here for fire. Everyone showed up to work.
At MATA, if there was someone who needed a ride, we had our road supervisors to pick them up and bring them to work today.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Sam Hardiman here with the Daily Memphian. Chief Crow just touched on it, but could Scott and maybe Chief Crow again talk about what people should expect on the roads over the next day or so, considering temperatures are not going to get above freezing for quite some time, and what you expect roads conditions to be later today and then tomorrow as well?
Yeah, like Chief Crow said, I mean, it's gonna take a little longer than the event in January. We got the colder temperatures, especially in the night, you know, getting down. We may see some single digits temperatures tonight, and then teens tomorrow night, and then not get above freezing until Friday. Now, hopefully the sun can come out some today. It looks like the forecast is showing some sun tomorrow. That'll help with the streets, warming those up and start melting. But, you know, drivers definitely need to be cautious tonight as we get into those lower temperatures, and that's still layer of ice is still there on especially lesser traveled streets, you know, where it hasn't started turning to slush and clearing some paths. That'll definitely refreeze, but we'll continue to treat, you know, like we have on the designated routes with the salt. Be mindful that it does take a little longer to to work with the colder temperatures, usually below 20. But yeah, that there's definitely needs to be caution with this ice event that we had before the snow this time.
Okay, if there's no more questions, I think we're gonna wrap it. I just want to point out that we
Hey,
may.
Jenny Bria Bolden had a question.
I don't hear her.
Scott, are you able to answer that?
I could not hear any of the question, Penelope. I'm sorry. The audio is super low on my end.
Bria,
Let-
can you check your audio and try one more time?
Let me hold on. Let me try to plug in some headphones. Hold on just a second.
She's going to drop it into the chat.
Okay, I got headphones on. If you want to try it now.
She's going to drop it into the chat.
I couldn't hear her either.
No, I mean, the crews are still doing the same. The biggest difference is there's less plowing just because there's less material. The salt is still being applied just like we did in the last event. The biggest difference is the plows because one, you got the layer of ice that won't come up with plows. And then two, you just have so little material. It's hard to, in some of the areas, it's hard to plow anything. So we'll, hopefully with, like I said, maybe if the sun comes out today and then with the salt, still hitting hitting the routes with the application, and some drivers, that have to get out and, start helping that turn to slush.
Okay, was that the last question? Okay. Then let's go ahead and wrap it up. We may end up canceling that 3 o'clock today. I want to give you guys a heads up on that. We'll decide in the next couple hours. But if things don't change, we're just going to go ahead and cancel the 3 o'clock. So y'all have a great day.